and Tangela too, and our host, Vincent Van Dahl, and he brings it to ya! Creature features, and all creatures, and all creatures! And the creature gonna get you tonight. You better not turn out your bedroom light. He'll grab your head and give it such a bite. You may even die, just from a fright. You ain't nothing gonna be, baby. You ain't nothing gonna be alright. Cause the creature gonna get you, baby. Don't get you tonight.
Happy Christmas, Merry Holidays, Joyeux Noel, Feliz Navidad, and Yuletide greetings. Welcome to this year's Creature Features Christmas episode. I am your merry host, Vincent. The darling little angel to my left, who'd make the perfect topper for any Christmas tree, would be my adorable housemate, Tangela. And the somewhat bitter chap over to this side, who could easily be typecast as Scrooge for a community college presentation of Dickens' famous work, would be the house runner for this most formidable mansion, the dutiful Mr. Livingston.
If I appear somewhat grumpish, it is merely because you've allowed that monster into the household.
Oh, come on, Livingston, he's not that bad.
He's already made off with the dining room silverware.
Oh, don't be so judgmental, Tangela. Sometimes you neglect to flush as well. Before we talk about our guest, let us introduce the film. While tonight's film isn't technically a Christmas movie, is that number 1 or number 2? Good Lord. While tonight's film technically isn't a Christmas movie, there is a bearded man who appears several times during the film, and there's at least at one time during the length of the presentation, the ringing of a bell, which ensures to us that somewhere an angel has earned his wings. And that film would be Creature of the Walking Dead from 1965. Originally filmed in Mexico, this low-budget horror novella was re-edited by American director Jerry Warren into something that is borderline unwatchable. But it's a piece of cinematic history, so there's that. We apologize in advance, and we'll make it up to you next week. But forget the film, because our wonderful guest will make up for it as well. And while some might say he's a mean one and that his brain is full of spiders and he has garlic in his soul, we find him to be as cuddly as a cactus and as charming as an eel. For joining us all the way from the mountains of Whoville will be the Grinch himself. Because who better than he expresses the joy, cheer, and goodwill of the Christmas season?
Santa Claus?
Perhaps, but he wasn't available this year. And while some might argue that he has the tender sweetness of a seasick crocodile, we see a heart full of unwashed socks with a friendly smile.
Full of termites.
So don't go away, for it is to be another night of Whoville-style Yuletide fright, right here on Creature Features. Stay tuned. Yeah, that's a rather impressive beard. I could never grow a beard like that.
Because you're full of estrogen.
Welcome back to the show. It's Christmas time here at Creature Features, and hopefully you are having a wonderful Yuletide weekend. And we've got the Grinch. He's like the real thing. And he came all the way from Whoville. How was the trip?
A lot of nice, expensive things in this home.
But Whoville, you took a plane, you took a...
No, I got my sleigh with Max. Max, outside.
Oh, there's a dog that pulls the sleigh.
Is that what he is?
Well, he looks like a dog, right?
Not anymore.
Well, I noticed the sleigh was empty. I take it you're not making any deliveries this year.
I've only just begun with it.
Oh, all right. Well, as we mentioned in the introduction, we could not get Santa Claus this year, so we've got the next best thing, right?
Overrated.
Right.
Santa Claus.
All right, we're going to watch Creature of the Walking Dead. Have you seen this film?
No.
No?
No.
I'm told it's good. However, it may not be that good.
Probably
it may be bad.
not.
I've been told it's good, and I've also been told it's bad.
Have you seen my films?
Which one?
All of them.
The one where you stole Christmas?
Yes.
Oh, that's a good film, but I like the cartoon version better.
Ah.
No, you look good in a cartoon. You're much more animated.
Bet you say that's all the Grinches.
If I could say so. All right, we're going to go ahead and start this film. When we come back, we're going to hear everything about the Grinch, all right? All right. Here we go, off to Creature of the Walking Dead. Don't you dare go away.
The insurmountable quest of scientists has been to answer the unanswerable, question the unknowable, and delve into the black regions of darkness which surround the mysteries that make up the small world within man's limited perception. Is the world real? Or thought essentially a true reflection or merely an illusion brought about by a mind separate from the ultimate reality? Thus is the question of man. In the year of discovery, 1881, when science had found the first leaves in the great volumes that were to follow, Dr. John Malthus, my father's father, had not only sired a son, but had undertaken of himself the fleeting dream of medical men from his day and before down to my own. That of producing everlasting life in a dark house and laboratory that would one day be inherited by me. Dr. Malthus pondered through the long hours of night over beakers containing the fluid of life. Life that to him indicated one thought alone, that it should be continuous and never-ending.
So, Mr. Grinch, who does your hair?
Well, I do.
You do a fine job.
Every morning.
Now, is it something you have to wash every day?
I don't wash.
You don't wash. Huh?
That's...
Oh, I noticed an aroma that entered with you, and it was pungent.
That's the smell of beauty.
The smell of beauty. Anyways, welcome back. We shall get back to Creature of the Walking Dead momentarily. But first, we're going to chat a little bit more with the Grinch, who stole Christmas sometimes. So, how are the people of Whoville? Who was the little girl in...
Little Cindy.
Little Cindy...
Cindy Lou Who.
Lou Who, yes. Whatever became of her, I imagine she's a big girl now.
She's a rock star.
A rock star.
Playing that god-awful heavy metal music.
Well, I would think somebody like you would like heavy metal.
I like country.
Country? Why?
Yeah, because everybody's unhappy.
Well, so unhappy music. So I would think you'd listen to something like classical. Or something like that.
It's too nice.
Too nice, right? Too melodic. So, Whoville. So Whoville is in a valley, and you live in a cave.
I live on the top of the mountain.
Well, that's a nice place to be. I imagine the view's quite nice up there.
All I see is Whoville.
Those
and the
Whovians.
suburbs of Whoville.
Well, it must be nice then visiting Bodega Bay for a change.
Bodega what?
Bodega Bay. You're in Bodega Bay. Did you ever see the film The Birds?
A lovely piece. Lovely!
Right. So it was filmed right here where you are now.
I knew I liked it here.
However, the birds here are rather friendly. They're not evil as they were in that film.
You can't win them all.
Right. All right. Well, what do you say we get back to this film? And then when we come back, I want to hear some more history of the Grinch. All right. Off we go back to Creature of the Walking Dead. Don't you dare go away.
Take a lot of abuse to whittle that down very much.
My friend, you'll never know the amount of abuse undertaken to get it there in the first place.
He's right, Inspector. That's some kaposis you've got there. It's a good thing it wasn't you instead of Dr. Malthus up on the gallows. I doubt if they'd have found a rope large enough to carry out the job.
Your humor overwhelms me, Mr. Sims. I hope you can put it to use in your own behalf. The next time your wife requests one of my sergeants deliver you from the floor of one of your favorite taverns.
But your sergeant and I see eye to eye, Inspector. Don't forget, policemen can't have too many friends.
I won't forget.
Now that it's over, have you any regrets? I mean in the way you handled the case.
I never have any regrets when justice is served. Justice is part of my job, even if it gets distasteful ever so often.
Well, it was short and sweet. The slate looks clean. However, I think the doctor was responsible for a lot more crimes than many of you officials gave him credit for. But you can only hang a man once. In his case, the penalty happened to be too light.
Tell us, Mr. Detective, what you might have uncovered that the inspector here didn't.
Well, take my sister-in-law, for instance. Those gifts she was receiving in the post, smelling water and silk things. She swore she didn't know who was sending them, and I believe her.
So?
Well, just what would you make of it?
Did you encourage her to keep these things?
Certainly not. They're the type of articles you'd find in a brothel.
How exactly would you identify your sister-in-law in relation to women? That is, women connected with a brothel.
I wouldn't identify her at all in that respect.
But you automatically identify Dr. Malthus with the whole business. On what grounds?
I know what you're thinking. It's a bit of the temptress in every woman, and I suppose you're right, but
Well, it takes a certain caliber of man to bring it out. And there's only one, correction, there was only one of that kind around here.
I take it you hold Malthus responsible for about every crime we've had lately.
Well, what about those incidences that happened in Hombley a couple of years ago involving 3 different women? Now, they never did come up with anything in the way of evidence, did they?
Mr. Sims, the homely crimes were written off long ago as due to a physical cause and nothing more. They never should have been referred to as crimes at all.
Ah, but the deaths were attributed to something other than natural causes, weren't they? I'll bet they didn't even bother to find if they had any blood left in them. Of course, it's a bit late for that now.
It's a bit late to pin it on the doctor, too.
Well, as I said, you can only hang him once.
Sounds like you'd like to have a hanging once a week.
You know, Inspector, I've somehow had the feeling that you sympathized with Malthus. I still feel that way.
Don't confuse sympathy, Mr. Sims, with fear. That's right, I said fear. The insecurity of those who come in contact with something they cannot rationally understand.
I imagine the scars go deep for those on the inside of it.
It's always difficult to keep a proper perspective when dealing with a basic criminal mind. However, there is little difference in the prosecution of one who seeks to destroy, whether it be physically or in a more subtle manner.
Are you referring to a state of mind or the realm beyond our comprehension?
In my opinion, the two are inseparable. Only that the degree of comprehending the so-called mysteries of life varies in each individual.
Surely you don't believe a man can possess supernatural powers?
Well, let's say that one could have a superior understanding of what is. He therefore is capable of exercising many things.
You know, something that never came out in the papers and got my curiosity aroused was the length of time. That is, how long was he actually involved with these experiments? Why, I know of 3 or 4 people who were going to his office right up to the time of his arrest.
You don't know when he actually started. A lot of us would like to.
It's a pity, I'd say, that a man like Dr. Malthus got into such deep water in the first place. He was a good doctor. Seemed dedicated, too. Many's the time that he came at midnight and even later when Ginny was ailing.
Well, maybe she didn't have the type of blood he was looking for.
Well, all the same, he's going to be difficult to replace, even though he did go balmy.
Well, there's a good question to be raised about the extent of his condition.
You think he wasn't insane?
Well, he refused to be examined by all the court physicians. Perhaps that's an explanation in itself,
Well, you don't imagine he wanted to be hanged. Now, no man would ask for that, crazy or not.
He made no effort whatsoever to do anything about his guilt.
Could be his conscience.
Oh, that's one thing we established quite firmly. Dr. Malthus didn't feel himself guilty at all. He believed himself absolutely justified in everything he carried out.
And you still question the fact whether he was balmy or not. Oh, Inspector, I'm surprised.
Well, to be honest, I'm a little surprised myself. So it seems were many others. Now, those that involved themselves to the extent of seeing really inside the case. There was much to be observed once you got beneath the surface. How old do you think Dr. Malthus was?
Oh, I don't know. 30, 33 maybe?
We uncovered the fact that it was 27 years ago that he graduated from medical school. Now, that means he'd been practicing here for at least 12. Matter of fact, I was still a sergeant when he first lanced a carbuncle on my neck.
You know, my wife Ginny used to say, the doctor always looks so young. You're turning into an old man, but the doctor looks so young.
She wasn't the only one to notice.
And you honestly believe that these experiments with bloodlines gave him some sort of a fountain of youth?
Well, I don't know what's possible and what isn't. A policeman looks for facts and lets the experts do the analyzing. In the case of Dr. Malthus, the facts, unfortunately, are still in that laboratory somewhere. The reports and his notes and such haven't been seen by any of us. His family absolutely refuses to let anybody in the house, and we have no legal right to search it.
I'd say a lot of those doctors would like to take a look.
You can bet on it. They all agree on one thing. Malthus was a most unusual man. He had secrets that perhaps none of us could believe possible. Whether or not there was any good in them is a question for the scientists, and it would take the best of them. As far as I'm concerned, it's a question that even the best of them probably will never be able to answer.
This portion of Creature Features is brought to you by CreatureFeatureStore.com, the official merchandiser of Creature Feature accessories.
Tangela, do you know that Tycho Train Company will be having an after-Christmas train and racing sale? You should see these bargains. This is one of... We should get a new set. You know, her and I like to do trains because it irritates him. No, we put tracks all over the house. And, it's a nice way to send messages back and forth, right?
They surprise me in my sleep.
Right. Well, it's the choo-choo sound.
No, it's the whistle.
The whistle. Anyways, welcome back. The Grinch had to step out for a moment. I think he had to use the loo. I think he has some kind of...
I think he's taking the loo.
No, I don't think he's taking the loo. I think he's using it. Maybe he's going to use it and then take it, but he's using it. I think it was something he ate.
Well, he ate almost everything.
Right. Anyways, we're going to do some mail because you send us mail, and it would be kind of us to read it, right?
Right.
Right. What do you got?
Simsbury, Connecticut, it appears.
That sounds like a nice place. Tell me more.
Package inside.
All right. Simsbury is in Connecticut, and I wonder if that's near Nantucket.
Nantucket is in Massachusetts.
Could still be near it. Isn't Connecticut right next to Massachusetts?
Somewhat.
Right. All right. This is from Sue Walker, and we've got an envelope with a box. Oh, and some nice things inside. Let's have you have a look at this. And she goes, "Hi, everyone. I really enjoy watching Creature Features. Vincent, a perfect host." I told you.
Yes, as you tell me repeatedly.
He always says I'm an imperfect host. So Sue has verified that I am. Mr. Livingston, quite the gentleman, handsome, intelligent. See, he cannot argue with this woman because he got a compliment as well. Let's see. Andrew, wow, what you put up with, Tangela. Keep going, love watching you. I'm sending you videos that you may be able to show if you haven't already. I bought this years ago just for my crawling eye, my favorite. Thank you, Sue. Well, thank you, Sue. What'd you send us?
50 horror classics.
50 horror classics.
On DVD.
Name 2. Show it to him.
Let's see. The Crawling Eye.
Crawling Eye, right? She mentioned that.
And my favorite, Nosferatu.
Nosferatu. All right, very nice. We will go through that and see if there's anything we can do with that. Next up, Mr. Livingston.
New Pine Creek, Oregon. Louise McNew.
Louise McNew.
It looks like McNew.
What a wonderful name. All right, and New Pine Creek. So there's an old Pine Creek at some juncture,
Perhaps.
Right? All right, we've got what appears to be a gift envelope. Pass that to the young lady. And a very nice wax sealed.
With sealing wax. It's
card
very
of some
classic.
kind. Oh, this is wonderful. It shows Santa Claus in the air with his fleet of reindeer. And it says, "Dear Creature Feature family, wishing you peace, goodwill, and happiness for Christmas and the New Year. Thank you for making my Saturday nights entertaining. Here are a few new friends for your Christmas tree. Louise McNew." Oh, show me. What? Oh, the spiders. Spider tree deck. We don't have any spiders in our tree, do we?
Well, it seems we do now.
Well, we have some real spiders, but not any decorative ones. All right, next up, Mr. Livingston. That it?
We have one more.
I see more.
With some artwork.
Artwork. I love artwork. All right, what do we got here? Looks like the cover of a National Lampoon magazine from some time back. You can see that there. And the note is from Ray in Bethel Island, California. We ever been there?
I've never heard of it.
No, I've heard of it, but I've never been. To Tangela Vincent, Mr. Livingston, Andrew, and Mrs. O'Connor. Where is Mrs. O'Connor?
She's off today.
Yeah. Merry Christmas from Ray in Bethel Island, California. Well, thank you, Ray. And, this is the bloke who does this art. What's his name? Doesn't it look familiar?
Yes, I believe.
Is it on there?
It's on the bottom left.
Graham Wilson.
Graham Wilson.
Graham Wilson. Right. Now, I remember reading his books as a child. Do you?
You had interesting hobbies, didn't you?
No. When he was a child, they were writing books about the 1906 earthquake because it had been so recent. Was it not? Anything else?
That's it.
That's it for mail. If you'd like to send us mail of your own, go to this website right here, and it'll show you how to send us an email if you'd like to send something that way, or if you'd like to send a package full of wonderful spiders, it'll have the address for you there as well. We'll be right back with the Grinch soon, but let's get back first to Creature of the Walking Dead.
Thank you.
Oh, I'll get it. Hello, Beth? This is Janie at the office. Doctor's been completely tied up with appointments since morning, and it looks like a full house for the rest of the day. He asked me if I'd please call his fiancée for him and explain that due to his heavy schedule, which you'd surely understand, he can't make dinner at your house tonight. Yes, how well I know. But you'd better get used to it if you want to marry a doctor. Actually, the papers just came through on the house he inherited. His aunt's attorney recorded the deed yesterday, and he plans to look over the rooms tonight, right after he makes a house call. Don't ask me. He wants to see it tonight.
The feeling of a cold, deathless wave of something unnatural seemed to reach out from the very beginning. This, the house of Malthus, was his house, and his presence in it was unmistakable.
Hello friends, Tangela and I would like to take a moment to compel you to join Creature Features TV. It is our new streaming service that offers you early access to Creature Features from your computer or your favorite set-top device. You can see the full archive of Creature Feature episodes, movies we've yet to present on the show, a library of items from the original program, plus many other items you won't find anywhere else. Your small yet generous subscription fee not only supports the operation of the service, but actually helps finance the creation of our show. It's a very inexpensive way to ensure that we'll be able to continue producing Creature Features for years to come. Not to mention it'll keep Tangela out of making mischief and wreaking havoc in the village as well. So please visit creaturefeaturestv.com to learn more. And thank you so much for your support. You do cause trouble. Welcome back to Creature Features. If you're just joining us, you're rather late. Yeah, how do you deal with late people?
I'll eat them.
Eat them? All right, well, I cannot do that with this particular crowd, but...
They're fantastic, medium rare.
That's good advice. And I'm with the Grinch, and we are watching Creature of the Walking Dead, which this film seems to be something about the whole fountain of youth serum thing, where you steal youth from the young and give it to the old.
How do you think I keep going?
Yeah. So he's a serum maker as well. So anyways, I was admiring your boots. Those are nice. Can I see them?
Right now?
Yes, I want to see your boots. Those are lovely.
You can't prove a thing!
All right, well, we won't worry about the silverware. The boots, where did you get them?
Off a pirate.
Oh, no, I was going to say, they look far too nice for a Santa Claus thing. So, please, be seated. I've seen enough. So, the Grinch gig. Yeah, how does one make money doing this?
Why do you need money when you live on a mountain? And eating roast beast.
Right. Well, we actually live on a mountain here. We do not eat roast beast. But, the taxes, how do you contend with the taxes?
Eat the tax man.
Oh, that's good advice. So, what does a Grinch do on Christmas when he's not stealing gifts?
Dealing with depression.
Your depression or somebody else's?
I hate Christmas!
So, are you happy on the 26th? No?
Yes.
It's
over.
It's over.
It's over.
So when does it begin then? December 1st after Thanksgiving? When is the beginning of this depression?
Right on Christmas Day, I wake up and I hate it. All of it.
Well, for somebody who dislikes Christmas, you're wearing a costume in the manner of Santa Claus. That makes no sense.
Remind me to fire my booking agent.
All right. That's nice. So, I'm thinking you should bring the dog in because Tangela loves dogs. You've met Tangela, have you not?
The little blonde thing that keeps jumping around.
Right.
Reminds me of Cindy Lou Who.
Well, I don't think Tangela will go on into a career of rock and roll. I think she will go into a career of explosives and things like that.
There's hope for her yet.
Right. All right, what do you say we get back to this film, and then when we come back, I want to hear about how you get this sled to move.
What?
Yes. All right. Off we go. Back to Creature of the Walking Dead. We'll see you soon.
Hi, Vincent. My name is Christy from Jacksonville, Florida. I caught your show on YouTube, and I just love it. I want to know if that is you singing the intro. And also, I found Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, and that movie scared me to death when I was a kid. Now it's just dumb, but okay. But y'all do a great job. Have a great day.
Welcome back to the show. We are still with The Grinch. watching Creature of the Walking Dead. You know this film, what I understand is that it was originally done in Espanol. And every time people in this film speak Espanol, there's a narrator talking over the Espanol.
Sounds awful rude to me.
It's absolutely rude. You know, I mean, this could have been like some type of international horror film. And instead, they ruined it with all this King's English.
Ah.
Right. So, anyways, what else is new with the Grinch? What does a Grinch do the day after Christmas?
Take everything and bring it to the pawn shop and hock everything.
So, you must get some pretty good loot when ruining other people's Christmas, do you not?
Mostly silverware.
Silverware, right, we know about that. So Livingston was a bit perturbed that you seem to have borrowed some silverware from our dining room.
I was merely bringing it to the orphans of Whoville to help them.
Oh, the orphans of Whoville.
Yes.
Right. So if somebody wants to become a Grinch, is there like a Grinch school? Is there some type of training program? Perhaps an online class?
You need to drink a lot of motor oil.
Motor oil?
Yes, it's delicious.
Right. I suppose you can consume some eels.
Oh, cooked right, they're beautiful.
Right. No, eels could be delicious if prepared by a proper chef.
And the slimy black peels of bananas!
Yeah, no, bananas, right. You know, we've got plenty of bananas if you're hungry.
You know, they wrote a song about me, don't you?
Now, you know, I had no idea. Is it a rock and roll song, perhaps?
No, it's Mr. Grinch. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
Ah, you can sing your own song. You know, if somebody wrote a song about me, I would not sing about it. I would never sing that song. Right? Because that's a song that someone else has to sing, right?
But it's about me.
Right. So you're supposed to say, I'm a mean one, I'm Mr. Grinch, is how you'd have to change the words, right?
All you women talk like this all the time.
It'd be an autobiographical song.
Now the big words.
Right. All right, well, speaking of big words, I'm getting a signal we got to get back to Creature of the Walking Dead. But when we come back, we're going to find out what you're doing for fun these days. And that, I think, meant okay. We'll see you soon.
Possible? Fool, miser, coward. You haven't the strength to take life. I'll teach you of it. Mine, you see, is immortal.
Where is he?
I'm sorry, miss. I don't know when the doctor will be back. If he wasn't expecting you, perhaps it would be best to leave a message. He went after blood plasma, something like that, I think.
Beth had become concerned over my behavior of secrecy, and I knew an explanation to her was something I had to face up to. She was greatly disturbed with my sudden attitude of aloofness, as she put it, and wanted a precise answer to her flat accusation that I was no longer interested in her and our plans for marriage. In realizing that a woman's concept of any unusual circumstances is generally ruled by the emotional stream of reaction, and in Beth's case would be considerably more than average, I knew it would be asking for unnecessary problems and possible disastrous complications if I would reveal any inkling of the situation I had become involved in. Beth's reasoning that I had gotten myself preoccupied to the degree that I had forgotten my social obligations to her family as well as to herself was valid enough, and I found it most difficult to explain away my actions in such a way as to be convincing and at the same time hide the real nature of what had been consuming the majority of my hours inside the laboratory that only I knew existed beyond the upstairs library. The fact that I had begun to act in this mysterious manner since moving into the house was interpreted by Beth as a bad omen, not only for the present, but in regard to our life together after marriage. She felt assured that in some way the house itself was to blame and could never become a place of happiness. I vainly pointed out that in the years that were to come, all talk of omens, good or bad, would long be forgotten. Dr. Malthus had found himself in an environment that to him would, without doubt, bring about the final, complete success of his long-awaited experiments. His delight over modern-day apparatus had brought such optimism that he flatly stated that the time was fast approaching in which he would have the answer to his problem of blood separation, and soon would provide a continuous supply of cells that inherently would never break down within the body, no matter what the circumstances. These would in turn provide each organ with the necessary nourishment to regrow themselves perpetually. As a scientist, I was, of course, greatly intrigued. Beth had assumed a new attitude and somehow convinced herself that a doctor involved deeply in the many problems of research should be viewed with a great emphasis upon patience and understanding. Even to her mother, who was beginning to doubt the sincerity of my intentions, Beth persisted in the defense of that in which, even though she knew nothing of the details, she felt was a legitimate and necessary part of my medical probings. As fate would have it, the time arrived when the first real clue to my actions would be heard firsthand. The visitor was a colleague of mine, Dr. Clinton Bernard, who had for years worked side by side with me at the hospital in which we both devoted 2 days a week to the charity patients. Dr. Bernard felt uneasy about his visit and wanted to apologize in advance for bringing news that was not only unpleasant, but perhaps a breach of faith that is held so highly by those in our profession. In coming to Beth at this time, Dr. Bernard hoped that the two of them could in some way derive upon a plan that would influence me to the realization that my entire medical career was in jeopardy in the circumstances he had become aware of. He told Beth quite frankly that I had been observed on 2 occasions inside the hospital lab during the hours in which everything is normally dark, and such entrance is strictly forbidden by anyone in the hospital employ. It was found that several vials of the rarest drug combinations were missing from the shelf, and also a great amount of plasma and pure blood had been taken from the refrigerated vaults in which very few individuals had access to. But Beth was conservative in her evaluation of what she heard, and was relieved that Dr. Bernard had come to her instead of the authorities. Her faith in me was admired by Dr. Bernard, but unfortunately not shared. as while he had not himself actually seen the act of theft taking place, there was little doubt in his mind as to who was responsible. Beth promised that she would take definite action at the earliest possibility in relieving all suspicions that, to her mind, were not at all justified.
Hello, this is Mr. Livingston. It would appear I have been tasked with requesting you to help our show financially by visiting our Patreon page. Your generosity will help us keep Creature Features on the air. With only a few dollars a month from you, your kindness will allow us to continue creating new entertainment for your viewing pleasure each and every week. And if you have the desire to give more, you might even receive a gift from Tangela. I think not. Please visit the website below to learn more. Thank you.
Oh, no, you don't! Not my good shoe.
Don't turn on the light. What's wrong? I've begun to age. You aren't fast enough with the blood supply. I have it. Your plasma compounds are no use to me. Did you get it in the natural state? No. You idiot! Poor, weak fool! I should let you die.
Doctor, wake up! Doctor. Doctor.
Malthus! Malthus!
This portion of Creature Features is brought to you by CreatureFeatureStore.com, the official merchandiser of Creature Feature accessories.
Welcome back to Creature Features. Creature of the Walking Dead. It's almost finished. Right?
Thank goodness.
Yeah,
Maybe there is a Santa Claus.
He doesn't like this film very much, and I don't entirely blame him. It's not the best film ever, is it?
I don't like any films unless they have me in them.
Right. Well, speaking of you being in films, You know, I noticed that you hobnob with some big celebrities. You know, like
This is true.
So like Brad Pitt. I saw a photo of you with Brad Pitt. What's he like?
Toupee.
Oh. Well, all that nice hair is really a toupee, eh?
Fake!
All right, and then I noticed that you spent some time with Kelly Clarkson.
I like Kelly. You know why?
Why?
She's always depressed.
Oh! Right. No, I imagine she somewhat is with her music. Right. So, you know, I've seen a photo of you with Kim Kardashian. What's she like?
Nice girl, but she's got big feet, and they stink!
Oof. You know, if you do that snake thing, I know, so I suppose you're always close to the ground. Maybe if you stood up more, you wouldn't have to worry about smelling people's feet, would you not? What about Robert De Niro?
I like Robert De Niro.
Why?
Because he's angry. He's angrier than I am.
Oh, that's nice. No, I suppose it's, you know, it's part of the role he plays, much like you. You know, it's an angry entity that...
This is no role. This is how I am.
Right. No, it's nice. Nice. All right, what do you say we finish up this film?
Finally.
And when we come back, we'll have Tangela here. And we'll find out what you're doing next.
Great.
All right, off we go to the end of Creature of the Walking Dead. Don't go away and don't leave when the credits roll, because we'll be here. And if you're not, he'll be sad, right?
I'm already sad.
There you go. See you soon.
So what do you make of it, Ed?
I don't know. Could be a simple case of elopement. Could be those people who reported it to the police overplayed everything. And again, all this hullabaloo in the papers could be legit. But the trouble with the papers, they always play every story to the hilt. Always go the same route.
Well, I double-checked every crank call that came in last night, especially those out of the Hancock Park area. Nothing. Did get one, though, that kind of made me sit up and do a double take.
Oh?
Well, that's the kind of a thing you'd throw me out of the office for.
Well, come on, let's hear it.
Look, Ed, I don't want to wake you all so this early in the morning. Ed, it probably has nothing to do with the disappearance of the Benson girl anyway, even if it did turn out to be more than a crank
Sergeant, I've been around this office for a long time. When someone digs into the crank file, I know what to expect. Now, let's hear it.
All right. I got a call from a woman. Now, she claimed that she saw some character drag a girl off down the street. The time was exactly right, and it was smack in the center of Hancock Park.
And you call this a crank call?
Right, because that's not the whole story.
Oh?
Well, Ed, she claimed the guy didn't look human somehow. She claimed he was some sort of a monster, Ed. A vampire.
A vampire.
Ed, I told you what
All
you were
right,
going to think.
Sergeant, all right. I asked for it and I got it. Oh, the trouble with this job is you grab at straws and you come up with broken fingernails.
So what'd you come up with at the house? Any leads on her parents? A boyfriend, maybe?
We located the employer through a paycheck. I sent Richards over there to check on some of the girls who might have worked with her. Lieutenant Jameson. Yeah, Richards. Uh-huh. Right. Okay, I got it. Yeah, you stay with it. Right.
So?
Well, there was no particular boyfriend, so that rules out the elopement angle. But I want to talk to that woman. The one who claims she saw that vampire. Bring her in. I want to talk to her.
Why? What'd he turn up?
Well, one of her girlfriends from work went to church with her last night. And before they went home in opposite directions, she claimed she saw a figure behind some trees. But she thought it was a teenage prank because of a face mask. You know, one of those monster faces.
What time was that?
About 10:15. What time did you make it?
Right around 10:30.
Uh-huh.
You know, Ed, it sounds as if he'd almost gone there to wait for her.
Who are the officers that made the call?
Delaney and Fisk. Now, they ran a patrol around the entire circumference of Hancock Park between 10:40 and 11 o'clock. They double-checked with the patrolman on duty in the grounds. He'd just gone on his shift, but he told them that the man before him had reported everything was quiet. You know, there's no possible place to park around there. There's none permitted, none for miles around. Now, that would pretty well rule out the possibility that she was dragged off in a car, wouldn't it?
And maybe she's still in the neighborhood.
What, in a house a few blocks from her own apartment? He'd have to be a nut to pull a stunt like that.
Well, who else would wear a face mask? Any way you look at it. Kidnapping isn't what the well-balanced citizen will participate in for sport.
Right.
Lieutenant Jameson. Well, how long has she been waiting? All right. All right, send her in. I'll talk to her. Oh, stick around. Let's see what this one has to say. Come in. Won't you have a chair, Miss...
Mrs. Vernon.
Mrs. Vernon.
This is Roger Vernon.
Well, Mrs. Vernon, what can I do for you?
Well, I really didn't want to bother you, and I still don't know if my coming here might not be in haste, but after reading the morning paper about this poor Benson girl's disappearance, well, I thought it would be best under the circumstances.
You know something about the Benson girl?
No, I'm afraid not. It's just that it touched off a wave of fear about my maid.
Well, what is it you fear about your maid?
Well, it seems she's also disappeared. You see, she's been missing for several days. And at first I told myself that whatever she did was her own business. And except for my being without help, well, I shouldn't interfere in her private doings, even if I did feel they were a little strange.
Strange?
Well, I felt it was somewhat unusual when several nights ago she told me she was going to see a doctor she knew to donate blood for some kind of transfusion. Well, it sounded odd, but then she seemed to know him quite well and had been doing part-time work for him in exchange for medical bills or something. Now, don't misunderstand me. I don't in any way believe the doctor has done something wrong or anything like that. It's just that I'm frankly concerned that she may not have gotten there. You see, she left late at night without even changing into her street clothes.
And didn't she pack anything, a suitcase?
Well, I've told you, she was wearing the uniform she works in. She put on a coat and went out the door.
I see. Well, we'll look into it for you, Mrs. Vernon. Now, just give me the name of the doctor she went to see, huh, please?
Well, I wish I knew. If I did, I would have called him myself.
All right, then will you kindly give us some information about her? Name, age, family. We'll start with the address. Now, I assume that she had a room with you.
Yes, she did. Our address is 409 Elmwood Lane, north center of the Hancock Park District.
Give it up, Malthus. Malthus, you can't get away with it. Malthus, listen to me. I know what you plan to do. I've read your notes. But what you have in mind will never work. Sure, you have 3 people now and you require a total of 4, so you think. But the blood types won't mix the way you think they will. Malthus, you can't just lock people up as if they were animals. Where are you going to stop? You monster! You monster! Monster!
Taking over my identity had provided everything necessary and every facility to ensure the successful propagation of his continued fortune. A ready-made life was his to step inside of. When a definite date had actually been made for the wedding, even Beth's mother was happier than she had been in years. Everything seemed in perfect order until Beth wondered why a scarf should be worn indoors.
Let us touch our hands lightly upon the table and concentrate fully on the forces that will bring help to each individual present this evening. Let us pool our strength and our vibrations so that each one may concentrate his mind completely and without reservation into the one channel of harmony that will lead us into the realms of ether. Let us put our minds into the one channel and our bodily vibrations into one unified force. Let us concentrate with our being, with all our thought power, until it is directed toward the one point of combined strength and harmony that will allow us penetration into the realms beyond. I believe the current is forming in which our minds may travel upon. May we have the first question, please?
I'd like to know if it's possible to locate 3 missing documents pertaining to the estate of my uncle. It seems he was the only one who knew where the documents were hidden. Can I have some information on this?
We will try. Something is wrong with our channel. I don't get anything at all.
Maybe I'm trying too hard.
No, it's not you. But we're being blocked. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you come in. We'll have to start again in a few moments. I'm glad you came.
I had a radio call to come, but I didn't expect anything quite like this. Frankly, I'm a bit surprised.
Won't you sit down?
Thank you.
I telephoned your captain and explained what we're doing here. Have you had a talk with him about it?
No, I tried to call him a few minutes ago, but he wasn't in. The desk clerk at the hotel told me where I'd find you, and he gave me a message from the captain. Do you mind?
No, go right ahead.
Tell me, do you have any new information on your maid?
Not yet.
Well, then why did you call?
Well, aren't you curious about what you've seen here?
Mrs. Vernon, when I'm told to go to a place, I go. I've seen a lot of peculiar things in my life, but I try not to let my personal opinions interfere with the job.
What is your opinion of this group here tonight?
Well, I really don't think that's important, do you?
I've only been doing this sort of thing a short time. I attended a few sessions as a sitter, and one of the best mediums in the country told me that I would be able to do exactly the same as herself if I'd work at it. Now, I certainly don't claim to know everything there is to know about it, but I've already met with a certain degree of success.
Well, I'm very glad to hear that, Mrs. Vernon.
I was able to get a vision of Frida. Now, it was only fragmentary, but I saw her locked up behind bars of steel.
Now, Mrs. Vernon, I think we'd know if she was in jail somewhere. Vision or no vision.
Well, I didn't say I saw her in jail, but definitely inside some kind of cage or cell. Well, it was Frida I saw. I'm certain of it.
Now, I don't know how you saw what you say you saw, or if, in fact, you saw anything at all. I think some kind of a scientist would be better qualified to discuss that with you anyway. What I am interested in is some information on your maid, some information based in fact, and some information that I can follow up on an intelligent basis.
Are you familiar with the work being done in Europe by mediums connected with police departments?
Yes, I've heard a little about it.
Well, there was a case in Holland where the criminal was found within 10 hours after the search began.
Yes, you're talking about the Sebastian murder. Yes, there was a good deal of noise about that. I'm also aware that the wire services tend to pick up a story like that and capitalize on it if they can. Unfortunately, they tend to play up those items that are hottest in news value and to play down the routine matters that are a little bit dull by comparison. I'm not completely familiar with the Dutch police or all of their procedures, but I'm sure that this medium was not the only factor that brought the killer in.
Well, I think you'd find it interesting if you went a little deeper into what actually happened. You see, the police had only one clue to go on, a button that was torn off the shirt of the murderer.
Yes. And then the medium went into some kind of a trance and described the murderer, right?
A full and factual description. It was unusual because the man was something of a giant, 6'7" or so.
Now, they have mug books over there, the same as we have over here. And how long do you think it would take any police department to filter out all of the suspects that are 6'7"? If you remember the case, that man turned out to have a criminal record as long as your arm.
So you've just admitted it was really based upon the medium's work and nothing else. Well, how could they know to look for a man of those proportions without the information?
I don't know, Mrs. Vernon. I've told you I'm only vaguely familiar with the case. I'm really not interested in it. What I am interested in is some information on your maid. Now, do you have some for me or don't you?
Well, I told you I haven't, not yet.
Miss, wake up. Wake up. You're the only one who can reach the keys. Try it.
You now.
All right.
And so ends Creature of the Walking Dead. All the prisoners escaped. You know, I thought they were all going to die. Didn't you?
That's a bummer.
That they escaped. Well, and the scientists burned up.
Another happy ending.
Too many of those for you, right? Well, it's an all right movie. I don't think I'll ever watch it again, but what did you think? She didn't like it. You know, most of the time she does like these types of films.
Does it speak?
He says you look like Cindy Lou Who.
With a mop on her head.
It is rather mop-like, but no, she speaks all the time. She won't shut up most of the time, but it's turn the camera on and there you go. It's Silent Night, Holy Night. Right. So what's next for the Grinch? What are you doing for Christmas?
Late Night with Stephen Colbert.
Oh.
I gotta fly to New York.
You know, I've watched his show once, and I don't know if I like that program.
It's making money, Vince.
No, he's depressing. Money. He speaks about current affairs all the time, and it's always bad stuff. Yeah, we talk about happy stuff here.
But bad stuff is good stuff.
Oh, that's why you're doing that show. Oh, who's the other bloke that is the happier one? The happy late night one?
Well, the fat chubby guy.
Oh, him.
Who is
yes,
he?
I don't know who he is. I'm the fat chubby guy sometime.
You sure about Guy? That hair?
Oh, listen to him. He's questioning me.
Yippee!
All right. Well, yeah, that's about it for tonight. Thank you so much, Mr. Grinch, for blessing our guest chair with your good cheer. And next time you're in town, you'll come see us, right?
Absolutely not.
Oh, wonderful. All right, as far as you guys go, thank you so much for staying up and watching our silly program. We know you could have been watching something else on a different channel, but instead you stayed here with us, and for that reason, we love you. We'll see you next week. Different movie, different guest, and a whole lot of fun. See you next time. So, Mr. Grinch, I'm thinking that, you want to be in a happy place for Christmas. Why don't you stay here and celebrate the Yuletide with us?
Well, perhaps I could stick around for a little while. But don't forget, Christmas is stupid, stupid, stupid! Max, get the sleigh!